I can understand English, but I can't speak. This is because your English learning is still in progress. Once you get some input, you also need to practice output. But the thing is, English education in school tends to focus on input. Input is like vocabulary, grammar, reading, listening. Output is like speaking and writing. Just to make sure, I'm not saying that English education in Japan is bad. You definitely need to do input. If you don't do it, you can't practice output because you have nothing to practice. Like imagine if you are a chef. Can you cook some delicious meal without any ingredients? No, right? It's like that. When it comes to learning English, you need input to get started. And sure, maybe school English focus mostly on input, but that's where you get your ingredients. In English learning, gathering ingredients is the input and actually cooking is the output. That's why you learn in school isn't a waste at all. When it comes to learning English, you gotta have a good balance of input and output. Like people always say input is important or no, output is important. But the truth is, you need both if you want to speak English. It is important to study at a balance that works for you. If you feel like you already have a solid foundation of grammar and vocabulary, then maybe you should focus more on practicing output. Start practicing speaking and writing. If you think you can speak English but don't know vocabulary and correct grammar, then maybe you should do more input. Start reading and listening to English material to improve your skills. It's all about finding the right balance for you. Choosing to watch this video means that you can understand English, but you can't speak. This means that you have enough ingredients in your fridge and you know how to cook. You know the recipe. So when you're served a dish, let's say curry, you can easily tell this is carrot and this is potato. And you can even tell how these carrots and the potatoes are peeled or cut. But when you actually have to cook, you can't do it. You know the ingredients and you know how to cook, but still you are not able to do it. Why that? It's simple. Because you've never done it before. You've never practiced it before. You've done enough input so you know the necessary ingredients and you know how to cook it. So when the actual dish is served, you understand it. But when you're asked to do it, you can't cook because you've never done it before. It's the same thing with English. You can understand it because you've done input a lot. But when it comes to speaking, you haven't practiced the output, so you can't speak. You can't communicate. I know some of you guys are worried about burning your hand or cutting your finger when you actually cook. Like you are afraid of making mistakes, not being understood when you speak English. Let me help you with that. In this video, I'll tell you how to practice speaking English. First of all, if you have someone to speak English with, that's a very good thing. You can practice to speak English. But don't stop learning to input because you can't practice output without input. Okay, you guys are fine. But there are so many people who don't have anyone to speak English with. Don't worry, let me help you with that. If you don't have anyone to speak with, you can talk to yourself in English. I understand. It's a little bit embarrassing, right? But it's okay when you do it when nobody's around. So let me explain how to do it. First, choose a topic to talk about. It can be anything, but it's better to pick a topic that you feel comfortable talking about. For example, you can talk about things you like, pinpoint things that are important to you, or something that happened to you today. Talking about what happened today is a great idea because you can keep a diary and write down your experiences every day, which helps with consistency. It doesn't have to be anything special. Just share what you did, or who you talked to, or what you ate and what you felt. The important thing is to practice speaking English consistently. Second, let's try writing. Before speaking, let's try writing first. If you can write in English right away, that's great. But I think it's difficult for many people. So at first, it's okay to write in Japanese. let's try translating what you wrote in Japanese into English. For example, 今日は太郎のところに行ってきた。久しぶりに会ったから話すことがたくさんあった。あ、そういえば太郎の家の近くに新しいお寿司屋ができてて、お昼はそこに食べに行った。その寿司屋の寿司は本当に美味しかったし、内装も豪華だったからまた行こうと思う。とにかく太郎とは話すことがたくさんあって楽しかったし、今後はもっと頻繁に会おうって話し合って帰ってきた。Then you translate into English. I went to Taro's today. We haven't seen each other for a long time, so we had a lot of catch up on. Oh, a new sushi restaurant opened near Taro's, so we went there for lunch. The sushi at the restaurant was really delicious and had a really luxurious interior. So I think we'll go there again. Anyway, we had a great time catching up and we talked about hanging out more often. So I headed back home. When you write, I want you to do two things. Write as if you are talking to someone. Write down every new word, phrase, or adjective. In this case, catch up, luxurious, interior, hang out, head back home. If these words are new for you, write them down below the sentences. Then third, practice. Actually speak out loud and try to talk as if you are talking to someone. It is important to speak as if you are actually talking to someone. For example, Hey Snow, how's your day? I went to Taro's today. We haven't seen each other for a long time, so we had a lot to catch up on. Cool. Oh, a new sushi restaurant opened near Taro's. So we went there for lunch today. The sushi at the restaurant was really delicious and had a really luxurious interior. So I think we'll go there again. Sounds nice. Anyway, we had a great time catching up and we talked about hanging out more often. Then I came back. Seems like you had a great day. By doing this, you can actually imagine yourself using English in real life situations. Once you become comfortable practicing on your own, I recommend trying online English lessons as well. When you're practicing alone, you don't notice your mistakes, which can hold you back from getting new perspectives. So talking with a native teacher can help you notice your mistakes. Also, English is just one of the communication tools. It is very important to learn about different perspectives, values, and culture through actual communication with people from different backgrounds. This will help you understand and connect with people better. That's why I highly recommend having regular online lessons. And I still do it myself. If you are interested in online English lessons, I recommend watching this video, which I explain how to start your first online English lesson. And I also recommend using social media. Posting videos of yourself speaking English on social media is good for both your own review and for other English learners studying as well. Also, you might be able to connect with foreign creators and make new foreign friends. If you are becoming more comfortable with English, I highly recommend giving it a try. And don't worry about making mistakes. Many people are too afraid to speak because they are afraid of making mistakes. That's why you can understand, but you can't speak. Of course, there might be times when you burn your hand or accidentally cut your finger. But remember, every failure is a stepping stone that leads to success. It's always necessary. Sometimes there are people who are afraid of making mistakes and don't even try. I believe that this is the biggest failure of all because you are not making any progress. If you fail, at least you are one step closer to the top. So don't be afraid of failure and taking it step by step steadily. It might take time, but you are 100% making progress. Alright, that's all today. If you liked what you saw, please dive into the like button, leave a comment, make sure to subscribe, check out my Instagram, then I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye to this.